Hey guys, I'm back, and I'm about to take you into the unknown. That was probably like off, but I saw Frozen about 2 days ago with a few of my friends, and we we're going to use audio description, which is what I'm going to get into right now. So audio description is basically there's a human. I think it's a human. I'm pretty sure it's not a computer. So there's like someone, I don't know if they have an actual like script beforehand, they probably do. And they describe all of the action or like visual points that happen in a movie or a TV show or, just televised recorded things. And that makes, TV accessible for blind people. Otherwise, it'd just be from audio cues. And perhaps inferencing, like sometimes people do describe what they're doing or you figure out what happens later, which can get frustrating if you don't know what happens in the moment. But so first I'll start by playing like a clip from Daredevil and just like giving you an example of what audio description sounds like.
Flickering pages of Action Comics appears the logo Marvel in bold letters. A man walks cautiously between cars toward an accident, his face searching. Traffic is stopped. Dozens of pedestrians rush to the scene. His eyes grow alarmed as he shoves his way through the crowd.
Alright, you want to stop there? So there you go. That's what it's like. It, as you heard, first it described, the logo and getting into the show, and since there was no dialogue, obviously I, as a blind person, would not have known what was happening. And in part, the reason why I'm making this video is because when my friends and I went to the movie, our audio description devices were not working. And this is something I've experienced a lot. A lot of times the staff sort of conflate disabilities. So there are 3 different devices. There are glasses that I believe it shows you the closed caption on the screen. Someone has definitely handed me the glasses before, and I'm just like, I don't need those. And there is also, the audio description, as you just heard / experienced, and like also headphones similar or the same device. I think it just depends on how they program it, and it like amplifies the sound, presumably for someone who's hard of hearing. And going off of just like things that I've discussed in the past, again, conflating disabilities, deaf and blindness clearly are the same thing. We just lump all of the senses together, and so that consequently ends us with devices that are not what we need. We were all able to hear the sound clearly, so we did not need it through the headphones. What we needed was the person describing the actions that were happening. Now, luckily, one of my friends, she had good enough vision to see a lot of the things that were going on and served as our pseudo audio description, and we did rely on, because not everything has audio description, so we did rely heavily on, just listening to the dialogue. Sometimes they described what happened, and other times we just, figured out later if there were like points of confusion and other things that we might just never have gotten until watching all of the various Frozen 2 videos that are out now later. But yeah, so part of the reason why I wanted to make this is that if there's ever any, theater employee who watches this, just note that, I feel like sometimes I come off as annoying when I'm like triple checking. I'm like, okay, this is the audio description, right? This is the person describing what's happening in the video. And they're like, yes, yes, yes. And it's like, don't be frustrated with me, because so many people don't seem to know what they're doing. And a lot of times it's the person who confirms multiple times and is like, yes, this is definitely it, who has it wrong. There have been many times also that like staff have been like, oh yeah, we're gonna just come and check on you afterward, and they don't, or they forget. And I don't want to have like whoever it is, miss out on the movie, or, so it definitely gets frustrating. And while many of my friends and I are accustomed, I feel, to not necessarily having audio description, because there are so many things that don't. It is available, and it's like, you know, most sighted people can't imagine not seeing the screen. Most sighted people are like, how do blind people even watch TV? How do you only listen? And so my thing is always like the equivalent of, if you're in the kitchen and the TV, well, we have our streaming devices and we just carry our phones and laptops around, but in the good old days, you know, back in the 1800s, you know, if you were in the kitchen like cooking and the TV was on, you just listen. And I know some people would like drop everything and like rush to see what was happening, but a lot of times you would just have to infer from the dialogue, and that's more often than not what a blind person does. But as you heard, we do also have the option of audio description, which is really cool, and something also, like, depending on who watches this video, you know, something to note for anything you make in the future. Blind people really appreciate when we also have like the visual descriptors, because so many things, you know, so many behind this, or not behind the scenes, but so many little gestures happen that like build a relationship in especially for something in a movie that's like so short, or like in a TV show. In that 70s show, I know a lot of people talked about what's his name, Hyde and Jackie, and like their connection because of like gestures and little things that I completely missed on, like, I've watched it many times, and it was only through like later, like, I found transcripts of episodes that, like, you know, just obsessive fans have put onto websites, which I appreciate. And, you know, just having that information really helps, really comes in handy. Something else that I do want to add as well is that on YouTube, you can also have things be audio described, or to an extent, like, a user who uses voiceover, or, you know, whatever voice text-to-speech software they have, can also have a greater understanding of what's happening in your video if you use the subtitle feature. Like, rather than putting the subtitles in the video themselves on whatever, like, production software you use, actually using YouTube's subtitle feature, because it is accessible, so that would be really appreciated. If you have some sort of script, or, you know, and you just insert that can be really helpful and bring a whole other level of accessibility to your video. For me, I'm just sitting here and talking, so there's nothing for me to describe to my fellow, like, blind and visually impaired viewers. But for other people who do, you know, just more active things, it can be really helpful, really useful. And I hope this video was really helpful and really useful. I'll be back soon.